Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, we will call the August 5th meeting of the Common Council to order. I will ask our clerk to call the roll to determine a quorum.
Alderperson May.
Here.
Probst.
Here.
Reinke.
Here.
Rote.
Here.
Vitale.
Excused.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Also excused.
Chaplesky.
Here.
Haas.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
8 present, 2 excused.
We have a quorum. Alderman May will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have 2 items for public hearing this evening. I'll ask the clerk to read public hearing number 1.
A hearing on the special use permit to establish For Mom and Me, a proposed secondhand article store to be located at 1530 through 1532 South 84th Street.
Mr. Stiebel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In what's commonly referred to as the State Fair Park building is a 12,500 square foot building, of which about 1,200 square feet are going to be used by Mom and Me. It's a secondhand resale shop, and it used to be located downtown West Dallas. It's been vacant for a number of years. And now they're going to be relocated to this particular location.
Oh, duh.
It's like the middle,
Yeah.
just the south end of the middle one.
Excuse me just a second here. There we go. It's a multi-tenant facility, and because it's on C3, it still requires a special use. That's the purpose of this public hearing. The resale shop is supposed to be open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., with no outside drop-off locations, and that's fairly key to any new approvals because of the problems that it usually generates. Also, at the time of a special use, we take a look at the entire site and require the entire property be brought up into compliance. Since this has 2 tax keys, only this one building is the focus. There's some existing wall there that the capstones have fallen off that have to be replaced. So the landscaping that is dead has to be replaced. We also do not allow pylon signs anymore, and so they have to replace this sign with a monument sign. And then also these smaller signs are not permitted in paint buckets. They also have to do the rear of the building, clean up the landscaping and fix their fencing, and then the garbage collection has to be dealt with appropriately. The Plan Commission has reviewed this project and has recommended approval. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Stiebel. Are there any questions from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 1. I'll ask our clerk to read public hearing number 2.
A hearing on the special use permit for Lucky Bakery and Barbecue, a proposed restaurant to be located at 11078 West National Avenue.
Mr. Stiebel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On National Avenue is an existing strip mall. Has a number of Asian flavors already in it, and this will be an addition of a barbecue and bakery. Bakery more in the sense of the types of rolls that that they're providing for their customers and what's inside the rolls. It's a takeout only. There's no dining in. They'll be taking about 1,400 square feet of the about 27,000 square feet. It's not going into the vacant Margarita Paradise facility. It's going to be on the other end, Margarita Paradise, and a Vietnamese restaurant's going in there, but that'll be a separate issue. But so that's going into here. And because this is an older strip mall, it has some other issues that we need to deal with. But because it's a C4, it still requires a special use. And these are some of the items that they're going to be a very interesting menu selection that is somewhat different than what we see around the entire area. Their hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 10, 7 days a week. We have some issues like some broken cement that has to be repaired. There's some dumpsters. I think there's 2 of them on the site that are not in an enclosed refuge. There are 2 refuge containers that do have dumpsters in them. Here's an example of one of them, but they also need to fix up those dumpsters. This is a person door to be able to get in and out and get that fixed. Also, some of their security issues, like these poles, these ballards are going to have to be repaired. This is an old pylon sign that was supposed to be taken down from a previous application over a year ago, and that's going to be coming down in November. The bigger issue is the fencing that's around the perimeter of the site. Since the site plan was initially approved in 1987, they're supposed to have their own fencing to shield themselves from the residential neighborhood, and they're virtually entirely surrounded on 3 sides by residential. And we've had a number of complaints over the years, particularly as it relates to dumpsters. And then we're also requiring them to fix their parking lot so that it's paved and drained adequately. The Plan Commission has reviewed this project and has recommended approval. And we might have received one objection late, but I'm not positive about that. If you have additional questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Stiebel. Are there any questions from the Common Council on this item?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Haas?
Yeah, Mr. Stiebel, you had indicated that this is going to be like an Asian-type bakery. Did they indicate, or is there an indication of what type of Asian cuisine for a particular country, or just pan-Asian, multi-Asian? Tell us about that, please.
I think this slide probably represents as close as you're going to get to an answer to that question. It's going to be a limited menu. It's going to be a Chinese menu, and probably more of an eclectic Chinese from Sichuan to Hunan. I think we're going to see some flavors from entire China. But it's going to be a fairly more southern Chinese barbecue, Korean influence, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Weigel?
John, you mentioned you think you got one objection that just came in like yesterday, today. What was the nature of that?
I don't know. I just remembered the staff telling me that somebody received a complaint. I thought it was one of the aldermen had received a complaint. Maybe it's about another project that's coming up. But I just didn't want to pass it by without mentioning that.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
Devine,
Alderman Reinke?
basically, John, you mentioned several problems on site. These problems have been there for several years. How long is the city going to allow them? How long is the city going to allow them to fix these problems?
We have been working with them for a long time, and we finally told them, even though that this is a small spot, that they have to have it done within 2 years. Now, this committee can make it shorter if they want.
That may be a suggestion that we would undertake, because it doesn't seem like the owner of this mall, we'll put it a small mall, takes care of it in a timely fashion, and I'm concerned about that.
It has flipped ownership a number of times, and I think the current owner has owned it just a little over a year, which is probably why we're giving them a little more flexibility than we would have if the prior owner had brought this proposal to us.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the Common Council? Seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, we will close public hearing number 2. And we will now move on to citizen participation, item E on your agendas, which is the opportunity for residents to address the council on matters of interest to them. We ask that you make every effort to limit your comments to 5 minutes. Is there anybody who wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to item F on your agendas, the announcement of our standing committees. They will be meeting during recess, and the room numbers are on page 1 on your agendas. Item G, the mayor's report. Really, the only thing I want to mention tonight is just to remind everybody that next Tuesday, there is an election on the 12th. So hopefully, you will take a moment to learn who is running for what and get educated on the candidates and take part in the democratic process. Move on to item H. Are there any alderpersons' reports this evening?
Mayor Devine?
Alderman Haas?
Yeah, Mayor Devine, I am proud to announce to the council and to the city that I, as many others, have been partaking in Mayor Devine's Move 30 Minutes a Day plan, put forward by Mayor Devine and the Health Department. And I'm further happy to report that I have lost 4 pounds, 4 big pounds. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Congratulations. Alderman Weigel?
Mayor Devine, I'd like to remind everybody, in case anybody hadn't noticed, that it's that happiest time of year again. State Fair's going on at the Fair Park over here. I'd like to thank the neighbors around the fair that have been tolerating the traffic. Also like to applaud, it seems like a lot of people have taken time to, clean up, dress up. We have company in town. We want to look good. Also want to thank once again our Community Development Authority. The West Allis, Hale, and Central Booster Clubs are once again parking cars over there on that very soon-to-be-developed lot on Greenfield Avenue. I know you've heard me tell this story the last 3 years. But so we're volunteers, coaches, parents, student-athletes are parking cars for the run of the fair at the former Mykonos Moyer's Bakery Foundry / site over there. The weather was not real cooperative the very first day or two of the fair, but we had a gangbuster weekend, and we're on track to maybe beat last year's numbers in general. Parking is, and people ask me, well, how much does it cost to park there? Well, it depends. It was $5 last night. It will be as much as $20 on the weekends. So it's a big lot. When you come, the money stays here right in West Allis. Appreciate everybody thinking about parking. It's about 8300 West on Greenfield Avenue, just east of McDonald's. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Weigel. Are there any other reports from the alderpersons this evening? Okay.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick?
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of July 1st, 2014, and the special meeting of July 10th, 2014.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderman Probst. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item J, I'll ask for a motion to place item number 3 on file and refer items 4 through 9 to the city attorney for a legal review.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Alderman May, second by Alderman Reinke. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item K, standing committee reports. We have none this evening.
Mayor Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There is a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are in recess.